Alexei Mishin, an honorary coach of the USSR in figure skating, suggested what artwork Elizaveta Tuktamasheva's career is like. What artwork is Lisa Tuktamasheva's career like? Not only have I read a lot in my life, but I've written a lot. I consider myself more of a writer than a reader. I think there were situations in Lisa's life that could be described by fragments of such opposite works as the fairy tale Masha and the Three Bears and Leo Tolstoy's novel Anna Karenina. That's the range. Once it was simple and easy, like Masha, who came in, broke the chair, gutted the bed, and ran out the window. And there were moments comparable in intensity and level of passion to the events that took place in Anna Karenina. First, Lisa's father passed away and she and her mother and sister were left alone. Then there were the highs and the pathological succession of Olympic selections. These events are indeed full of tragedy. Today, when some previously unknown details of the situation regarding the selection for the last games are revealed, it all gets even more passionate, said Mishin. Also Alexei Mishin revealed the details of the preparation of Elizaveta Tuktamasheva. Lisa continues to grow in terms of programs, her freestyle makes many people experience very deep emotions. Thanks to Ilya, a Verbuk, who staged this program for a show dedicated to the works of Igor Krutoy over a year ago. I think it's now that Lisa's state of mind has become fully consistent with what a Verbuk, Krutoy and the team who worked on this production put into this program. When the program was originally staged, Lisa, with her ratings at the time, was standing on a red-hot frying pan completely barefoot. Such was the situation. Since then, Lisa has become a completely different person in her understanding of herself in the sport. This gave us the opportunity to train her in the way that suited her best at that moment in her historical development. The unconventional way in which we approached training may seem strange. But there's really nothing strange about it. For example, to walk out of the free program on the day of the competition is a challenge. I've tried this kind of thing a long time ago, starting with Lyasha Ermanov and Zhenya Plyashchenko and ending with Lisa Tuktamasheva, among others. It's not easy to find such an approach to preparation for the start in the history of figure skating. European champion 2020 Alena Kostornaya told why she decided to switch from singles to pairs skating, as well as about leaving coach Elena Bayanova. Kostornaya will perform in a pair with Georgi Kanitsa. When I was trying to recover the elements, it felt very stressful. My leg began to hurt a lot, which was not the case when I was learning the doubles moves. I would practice my singles and then go to another rink in the evening and practice my doubles. As strange as it may sound, my leg did not hurt on the last ones, but on jumps, for example, it still hurts. That is why I will try my hand at pair skating, but it is too early to talk about big results. Elena Germanovna was concerned that Gosha and I began to learn the elements. Yes, we had talks. They tried to dissuade me, but I thought, why do we need a single athlete who can't do 7 jumping elements in the free program? If I have 3 out of 7, who needs it? Every one of my coaches helped me, but there were moments everywhere that I didn't really like. The older you get, the more you realize what you want to get out of working with a coach. That's where the desire to experiment comes from. I'm just looking for something that works for me, and I'm very grateful to each of my coaches. It's an invaluable experience, Kostornaya said. Channel 1 once again. No one could figure out. The organizers of the Cup on Friday morning presented the lineups for the tournament, and the teams were divided according to an unusual principle. One of the captains is acting skater Kamila Valieva, the other, suspended career Alena Zagatova. The complete lineups look as follows. We will not be caught up: Kamila Valieva, Elizaveta Tuktamasheva, Sofia Muravyova, Anastasia Zenina, Sofia Samadokina, Yevgeny Simonenko, Dmitry Aliev, Andrei Mozalev, Makar Ignatov, Alexandra Boakova, Dmitry Kozlovsky, Yasmina Kadyrova, Valery Kolosov. Red Machine: Alena Zagatova, Sofia Akativa, Adalia Petrosian, Veronika Yamatova, Alena Gorbacheva, Pyotr Gumenik, Alexander Samarin, Artem Kovalev, Gleb Lutfulin, Anastasia Messina, Alexander Galyamov, Evgenia Tarasova, Vladimir Morozov. According to the Channel 1 publication, Valieva will not perform at the tournament, at least, it appears from the application form, despite the recent publication that there are no claims against her from Ruzeta. Channel 1 Cup is a commercial tournament, but it is included in the official schedule of the Ministry of Sports. Either way, it is logical that Valieva will be one of the team leaders, because her media exposure was confirmed by the recent FCM poll of the best athlete of the year. Zagitova won it a few years ago. But she will be unusual to see her sitting on the bench, and she is unlikely to give valuable instructions to her teammates, most of whom are older than she is. Zagitova and the Red Machine are a familiar bunch. The Olympic champion is known to be interested in hockey and in promoting the brand of the Russian national team. So it is not surprising that it was decided to keep the brand important for modern sports Russia. As for the strength of the lineups, there are questions. If we take into account the positions occupied by the girls in the Russian championship, the distribution is not even. But even here it could be argued that in Krasnoyarsk Samatokina was not in her place. For example, in the general classification of the Russian Grand Prix, Samatokina is third. But all is not well with her team's quadruplets. Tuktamasheva only does them in training. Muraviova also has not tried them in competitions for a long time. Zenina only has a toe loop. Sofia did a salcho this season, but she is not in the optimal shape for a multi-turn jump. She looks weaker in comparison with Akativa and Petrosian and Gorbacheva with her quadruple salcho. On the other hand, if she does triple axels, which are very important for Saturday's short program, Tuktamasheva, Muraviova, Samatokina and Zenina were able to do it, as well as Akativa and Petrosian. Here the advantage is on the side of the Blues. One way or the other, the bets are placed, and now everything depends on the quality of the show, which will please Channel 1. Channel 1 has not let us down lately. Of course, it is unlikely that the two Tatars Valieva and Zagitova will sort out at the press conference, whose lineup was stronger, but even without that our skaters are able to make a show according to all the templates.